Welcome to the Hobby Jogger Podcast, where elite athletes and ham and eggers lace up their stories. We explore the common ground that running creates, from the world-class runner to the hobbyist hitting the pavement, trail, or treadmill. Expect a blend of inspiration, laughter, and the shared joy that makes every step count. Join us on this journey where every run is a story worth sharing. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Hobby Jogger. I am your co-host, Casey Koza, joined by my fellow co-host, Mr. Rob Myers. Rob, how you doing today?
Doing well. Excited for this podcast. The first one was a little over a year ago, and it's in our top 5. If I look at the download list.
Yeah. Often appears in one of our most downloaded shows of the week. Our guest, we'll get right into it with Dr. Bonnie Wilder. Dr. Bonnie, how are you doing today?
Good, guys.
Before we start, congratulations, Berlin Marathon.
Thank you.
Saw you just got into the lottery.
No, I got a qualifying time, so I had a little bit of an advantage.
Got it. So you have the qualifying time, because I remember you ran a pretty fast marathon not too long ago from your Instagram there.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on that. I know it's a world major marathon, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Berlin.
Nice. When is it?
September 27th.
Okay. Fall marathon. You're originally from Connecticut, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I was home talking to my friends, Leanna and Bryant, and our mutual friend moved up to Connecticut. Loves it up there. Absolutely beautiful place, I guess. But large tick population, I'm hearing, in Connecticut.
Wait, what population?
Tick? Like
Tick.
ticks?
Oh, it depends where you're living, not where I'm from.
Okay. Yeah, because she was complaining like, oh, there's so many ticks and Lyme disease. And I was like, well, supposedly that's where Lyme disease started, from Lyme, Connecticut. I don't know. Conspiracy theory, maybe. I don't know. But I figured I'd ask someone from Connecticut if that were true.
I don't know, Casey. Look in your backyard. Northeast Ohio is pretty bad.
It is very bad. Yes. So I figured I'd ask the former Connecticut resident if that was true. I don't know.
Down shore, yes. Ticks like
Okay.
to go down shore. I'm Midland.
Got it. So Connecticut, still a great place to go. They do like it very much. But Dr. Bonnie, the reason we have you on today, not to talk about ticks, Lyme disease, and conspiracies, but to talk about recovery. I know it's something that I lack. I know it's, I guess, would you call it low-hanging fruit for a lot of people?
Yes, for most people. For the people I work with, it's high-hanging fruit. They're doing the most for it. So I would say on average, people, they don't do enough injury prevention work.
Got it. I would certainly agree with that. So weaving in why we're doing this episode is we did a survey. We got quite a few responses, and a lot of it I was, I guess, surprised about when it came to recovery and the things that people do. And I guess more shocking was what people don't do, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So got the survey, got the results back. The number one answer that we got of running recovery priorities is injury prevention. We'll couple that with reducing soreness. I think that's pretty fair because they're pretty close on the survey.
Mm-hmm.
So let's tackle the injury prevention first, because I feel that is kind of your specialty, your background. I guess what I'm trying to say is you're most focused of what you do, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So going into recovering injury prevention, what is I'm thinking of myself here. What is one thing that you see that runners neglect the most?
That's a good question. It's they neglect doing everything outside of running, which is very vague as a response, but most runners just run and they do that consecutively, and then they find me, and then we end up having to fix those issues. So that's not a specific answer, more vague, but does that make sense?
Yeah. So they run themselves, they break down, and then they seek you out saying, fix me. And there's not a simple fix, right? You have to go back to the beginning. I imagine, I don't know, because I never run hard enough to really permanently injure myself, or not permanently injure myself, but severe enough. But would that be accurate that they break down and then, hey, Dr. Bonnie, fix me, put me back together, and difficult to do, right?
Right, right. They think it's very simple that they just need to strength train. I think that there's a whole aspect of social media where they're like, oh, if I strengthen, if I do squats and deadlifts and I lunge, I will be completely undestructible. And I'm like, so you have to like uneducate them about that, like I guess re-educate them about that, about, strength isn't the only reason you're breaking down. You weren't doing it before, but there's more than just doing very general, typical cookie cutter type strength. I find that probably is the number one most important thing.
Got it. Yeah, I know. And you mentioned it, the people that want to just, and I get stuck in that trap too, Dr. Bonnie. We're going to go squat, deadlift, and, do heavy, heavy things rather than like working on the small supporting muscles, which I know is super important. I see you post about it all the time. I wish, you know, I, I don't want to say take it more. I know how serious it is, but I guess for time, I am crunched for time. So what are some small things that people can do like during the day, I guess, to like build a, you know what I mean? Like, cause you have to start I look at everything as a pyramid: training, strength. What are some like just small little things that people can do when it comes to injury prevention?
Well, let's take the vast majority of America, just in general, or just people in the world. Most of them are sitting down at a desk for 8 hours a day. Maybe they get up twice to go get lunch, go to the bathroom, go fill up their water bottle. But those minutes that they're sitting in a chair, they can do things like it's going to sound crazy, but they can just do ankle circles at their desk, right? And they can do that for a minute. And that's just going to help them stay loose so that when they stand up, it's not like everything aches, everything feels so stiff. The other thing is just standing up, as simple as it sounds. If you just stand up every hour on the hour and just stretch a little bit, like just get things moving, you're going to feel much better at the end of the day. Or just like we call them in the PT or like physical therapy world, like glute sets, just squeezing your glutes, squeezing like different muscles, just getting them activated because blood carries oxygen, carries nutrients, and the more that you get those flowing to muscles, the better you're going to ultimately feel.
Is there anything you can recommend while you're sitting in the chair at work specific to recovery?
Yeah, heating pads. If you had have like I always recommend moist heating pad over electric just because moist has more physiological benefits on a area like on a muscle. If you are visibly inflamed, you can ice. You can wear compression socks if you have a very long run and then you go to work like anything over like 9, 10 miles. You can just wear compression socks or compression sleeves. If it's winter, you can just wear socks and no one will notice, but you don't want to keep them on for too long. But those are some pretty simple things that you can do, like at a desk.
Good. So you are a fan of the compression socks sleeves then.
Yes.
I actually wore them for the first time in a 50K, and I didn't wear them for any other reason other than the aforementioned ticks. I was worried. It was kind of that time in like the late summer, early fall. I was worried about getting ticks on my legs, so that's why I wore them. But I have to say, afterwards, my legs felt really good compared to what they have felt after other 50Ks. So I know it's anecdotal evidence, but I was won over by them.
The reason you feel so much better is because the calf is like a muscle pump. It's essentially pumping blood through like your lower extremities. So if you put on a compression sleeve, it kind of enhances that process and makes it more efficient and effective.
Got it. So should probably put them on for long runs.
Yeah, you want to do a sock for long runs versus a sleeve is better for like recovery. I always mess this one up. It's one or the other. I believe it's sock though for during the run, and then sleeve is after for recovery, which really helps. And doesn't have to be like a long sock. It doesn't have to go to your knee. It could just be like an ankle sock, but at least it's helping assist with more blood flow since it can really easily accumulate at the bottom of the ankle when you're running.
Yeah, and your feet do swell. Notice that my shoes are like skin tight by the time I'm done. But yeah, that was a big change. And thanks to CEP, those are the socks that I wore. They stayed up. That was one thing I was worried about is I didn't want the old soccer socks used to just fall down and they're around your ankles. Now you have ankle warmers rather than compression socks. But those socks, they did stay up and thought they were awesome. And yeah, legs felt great. No calf soreness after, which was odd, especially for such a hilly race, the ups and downs. So yeah, glad to hear we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
I know one thing that I've been toying with a little bit is the percussion tool. And I gotta say, I'm a little bit on the fence. I feel like sometimes it hurts me more than helps me. So I don't know, Dr. Bonnie, about the percussion tool. I got one, I think it's from Home Depot. It's pretty violent. It has four modes, but one of them's pretty violent. Well, what is your take on the percussion tools? I know you see them everywhere. People use them before races, after races. I don't think mine's ever left my living room. I just use it while I'm watching TV. But what is your take?
We're talking like a Theragun type of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has
Yeah.
four modes and it vibrates and
Yeah. So the percussion tool, there's a right and a wrong time to use it. A lot of people use it, I would say, at the wrong time. So another piece of education, right? Like you should not use it after a race. That's like the one time you should never use a percussion tool is after a race. Because think about it, you just ran probably your all-out effort and you're very inflamed, your muscle's broken down, you have little muscle fiber, like you have broken muscle fibers. That's what happens when you train and work out. So if you're going to now percuss essentially that area and put a Theragun to it, you're essentially making it more inflamed and it has to recover that much more. So it doesn't make sense to do it after. It makes sense to do it lightly before, just so you feel looser. But doing it after is almost counterintuitive. You're making things worse for yourself. In therapy, though, like when I used to work in person, I've since our last podcast episode, I've gone virtual fully. But when I was in person, I would do it with every single client as like more of a mental aspect where it feels good, they leave feeling better than when they came, but there's a time and a place.
that makes really good sense not to do it after a race because yeah, you've already tortured yourself, tortured your muscles, you broke them down. You don't want to further break that down because you're now trying to go into the recovery. So pull the inflammation out, let it recover. So that makes good sense. Yeah, I like it. It does. You do feel much better and you can feel the blood just immediately flow to your quads, calves, whatever. So yeah, I think I'm a fan. I don't know. Dr. Bonnie. I might be a fan. I don't know. I think I need more research on the percussion tool. Now, as far as another tool that I want to ask you about, I don't believe it was maybe it was on the survey. Let me scroll down to it because I know there's Molly Seidel, I believe, is the one who I saw using it. That's where I learned of it. It's a muscle scraper. It has a name. Was Escapia? Is that right?
The name and the actual brand?
No, fascia scraper. Sorry.
Fascia scraper. Yeah.
Yeah, they just like their arm, like their legs. What does that do? Does it work? Why do they do it? That's one tool that I've never touched. I've never used. Is it phooey? Is it just like a product that online influencers are pushing? What is it? Do you believe in it? Should I use it?
Okay, so three-part question.
Was it
First,
only three? It was only three
there
parts? I thought there
maybe
was like
there's
six parts there. Sorry.
maybe six. I'm condensing it into three. Um, so first, I do believe it has good benefits. I used
Okay.
to like swear by this when I worked in person. I would do it with almost every client that could handle the pain because there is pain associated with it, not excruciating pain. But the whole goal is when you have pain, when you have inflammation, you get scar tissue that comes, and that scar tissue it should be pretty like your muscles are pretty uniform where they lie parallel to each other, but scar tissue does not. Scar tissue will lie however it wants to be. So think of like a jumbled pile of pencils, right? They're going to be in
Okay.
different directions. That's how scar tissue lies down. So the whole purpose of this is to scrape that scar tissue out of the way to make them parallel so that the muscle can more cohesively contract. Right. So when you see they're called little petechiae, little red dots that pop up, those are inducing an inflammatory process. So that's the whole point of it. Again, a time and a place. I would not do this before or after a race. That's not the time to beat up your muscle. But I do believe that there is benefit to it. The only caveat is since going virtual, I find a lot of people really heavily rely on this tool. And while it's great short term, it's not going to address the root cause. It's just going to help the area that's like having pain momentarily. But when you go back to running, why is that muscle getting inflamed? Right? Is it getting inflamed because something else up the chain isn't working properly? Or is it truly the muscle is at fault? So that's where a lot of providers will neglect looking deeper into, and that's why I don't like the tool as like an end all be all answer.
Yeah, that was just because I guess I mostly saw it in the. I don't believe I've seen you use it. Have you used it in anything?
I don't publicize myself using it.
That would make sense of why I'm not, because I didn't see you use it. And I have a list. If these people use it, okay, let's look into it. You didn't use it, so that makes sense why I would not use it then. Okay. But
I
I see.
used to. I
Okay.
used to use it not with myself, but like with other clients in person. But since I've just kind of like, I don't see it the same way anymore because a lot of people use it as a moment, like as a short-term Band-Aid fix.
Okay. Yeah. Because I felt like it was an influencer thing. I don't know. And
No, there's definitely research to back it up, but I'll say it's very painful. It looks gnarly if you really get in there, and that can pose questions when you're out in public or it's summer, you have like your shirt off, you're swimming.
yeah, I try not to take my shirt off. Yeah. I don't, don't want to scare anyone. Yeah, that was one thing. Yeah, I had just seen since our last conversation that I definitely wanted to bring up, and I was surprised at how 25% of the respondents use a muscle scraper. So that was kind of eye opening to me.
It is interesting.
Yeah, for me, I have the massage gun. I should use it more. I don't. And another one that I was surprised with the massage ball. Half of the people surveyed use a massage ball, and knock on wood my plantar
Fascia?
fascia. Yes. So I've been very fortunate enough that it's always been very healthy for me. I think because I walk around barefoot a lot. I think that helps. I don't know. And when I played soccer a lot, obviously a zero drop shoe, I think maybe did something. I have no idea, but I got a massage ball and just lacrosse ball, and I was like, let's see how it feels really good. But then I started to have problems with it. So I stopped using it because then it got sore, I think, just from using the massage ball. So what is your take on the massage ball, which half of the respondents use?
Yeah, a massage ball is good. I find that a lot of people don't know how to use it properly. Like they'll just roll around in an area when, I know a lot of people use it for the hip. For your sake, it's the bottom of the foot. There's a lot on the bottom of the foot. There's a lot of nerves, there's a lot of tendons, ligaments, there's a lot of thick fascia. So you have to know how to use it properly. It is a good tool if you know how to use it properly. Otherwise, you're kind of just like creating a lot of damage in the area and it hurts too. If anything, I would suggest starting out with like a tennis ball, something that's a little bit more pliable and squishy versus something that's really hard, like a lacrosse ball. But I do support it. I do like it. I'll use it sometimes when there's like pinpoint issues, but rarely is there a pinpoint issue. That's why it's not my go-to.
Do you think that like the fact that I walk around barefoot a lot, does that help like strengthen that since I'm not using a shoe? I don't know. I feel like it's very natural to walk around barefoot. I'm not a barefoot runner. Like I see them out there. I know that's not what I'm talking about. Just like walking around the house. I don't have house shoes, but like I'll walk up and down the driveway or what, like, you know what I mean? I spend a lot of time barefoot. When I squat at the gym barefoot, does that help? Do you think?
So before I answer that, do you have flat feet?
God, I have no idea.
Well, do your arches collapse when you walk, or right now, are they collapsed?
No, they're pretty archy right now.
Okay, so I think that's the reason that you can get away with it.
Okay.
Now you could ask a barefoot shoe company the same question. They're gonna have a totally different answer because that's their world. But from like a physical therapy, like doctor background, from someone who myself has very flat feet, was born with it, there's nothing you can do about it. Like it's genetics. I would never walk around like flat-footed with no shoe, no support around the house because that hurts. But I don't also get plantar fasciitis. So just because you walk around bare feet, I don't think there's a direct correlation between not getting foot issues. Like I use OOFOs. Those are my around the house or like UGG slippers, which aren't as supportive, but they still work really well. I would say it's probably not great to walk around barefooted, but I don't think that's the reason you haven't gotten like PF, plantar fasciitis.
I see. I thought I was onto something. I thought maybe I was ahead of the trend and was on to the next thing. Not barefoot running. I want to make that perfectly clear.
I would never support that.
I would never support that. I think that is just a completely asinine thing. If you
Premature.
like that, good for you. I appreciate you. I think you're insane, but no, not for me at
Yeah,
all.
I think on the first podcast we spent about 15 minutes on barefoot running and just the whole zero drop shoes. So I think it was very clear how we feel on the first podcast. So if you haven't heard it, go back and listen.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I think I mentioned the guy who I see frequently. He'll have pants and a jacket on, but be out there barefoot. I don't even make eye contact. I can't. So,
That's
I,
bananas. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just tearing up your feet is one thing, but you got us into our next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, Dr. Bonnie, is I guess the emergence of recovery shoes. Before I got into the running world, I had never heard of a thing called a recovery shoe. I just put on my shoes after I was done doing whatever it is I was doing and then went about my day. I'd never heard of a recovery shoe. I had a pair of Hoka slides for a little bit. I did really like those. I actually wore them out to where I couldn't wear them anymore. Maybe I should buy another pair. But you are a fan, I know, because you just mentioned it, that you walk around all the time in recovery shoes. What are the benefits and when and why should we be wearing recovery shoes?
Yeah, usually it's after like a tough workout or cumulative miles. They stack up, and at the end of a week, like you're going to feel that if you're not giving your body what it needs to recover. So, recovery shoes is essentially like, really foamy material, plushy material that makes it feel like you're essentially walking on a cloud, which the first time I put them on, I was like, this is incredible. So now I live by them. I would say they're really good at increasing your recovery time. So instead of taking like maybe a day to recover, now it's only like half a day. You feel more fresh faster because you're not just walking on cement or wood, if that's what your house is made of, right? So I fully support them. I would say OOFOs are my top favorite. Hokas, you guys know how I feel about Hokas.
Yeah, I know, and I can tell you the listener already. He's gonna demand a debate with you over Hoka. He's gonna be in my inbox. Yeah, we do know how you feel about Hoka. Hey, I listen to you, Dr. Bonnie, so I get it. I am on board with you, not him. So yes.
I was surprised by the lack of haters, though, from the first podcast. We did talk about Hopeless as well. Just saying.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised by that too. I only got really one mean message about it, which but so so that makes sense why we like the recovery shoes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get another pair. I'm gonna try out the OOFOs. I did have a chance to try them on now that I think about it. They were much softer, I felt like. Would that make sense? The Hokas were a bit stiffer, firmer, maybe is the word, or I just wore them out and I just now remember them at their end state rather than how they were at the beginning.
No, Hokas are usually stiffer to begin with, and that also goes for their like actual shoe as well. That's why I like OOFOS better. They feel like they're already broken in when you're putting your foot in them, which I like.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try the OOFOs. I've heard good things,
Yeah, they have
and
sandals. Pretty cool.
yeah, I like sandals because I like just like I said, I like to be barefoot if I'm walking around, So easy on, easy off.
Yeah.
So, Casey, I'm just happy that I can put on my Crocs. And when people make fun of me, I can look at them and say, these are recovery shoes.
I'm recovering right now.
That's good.
I'm not wearing Crocs either. I'll stick with my OOFOs, I think. I don't need sport mode, Rob. I was surprised. I think I'm one of the respondents. 5% have never used a recovery tool, although then I thought about it, I have used a massage gun. So I probably messed up this whole survey for everyone. Another interesting one on there, which I was surprised it was this high, Dr. Bonnie, the electrostimulation. And I know we didn't talk about that on the last episode, but every time I go to Vegas, they're trying to sell me one. When I go to the chiropractor, first off, are you a fan of the chiropractor?
I'm indifferent. I don't really have an opinion. I think it depends on who they are. It's like a physical therapist. If they're good, they're good. If they're not, they take a very standard approach. They're not great. So I have nothing against them.
Okay. Yeah. Because I really like mine. Dr. Rook, I've mentioned a bunch of times in the show. I do have like a slight hip problem and he helps me out. And one of the things he does use is electrostimulation. And from my research, it's fairly mixed on it. It certainly makes it feel better immediately. It's probably just numbing the pain, probably, I think. But what is your take on electrostimulation? Do you recommend it? When and why?
I think if someone has really chronic pain and nothing else is working for them, that's a really good tool that they can use. I don't personally own one just because I try not to rely on a device unless I was having years of pain. That would be the instance I would actually get one myself. But yeah, essentially it does kind of the exact research. I mean, this was a long time ago. I was in PT school, but the exact research is it's really like it's interrupting those like neural pathways. So you do essentially, in layman's terms, have numb pain. So if you want to have momentarily decreased pain, this is a really great way to achieve that. But it's like the minute you take it off, it's like back to reality. So it doesn't stay around. That's the issue with it. It's great for in the moment. You can work with it. You can put it on your back. It's really beneficial for the back, and they're portable. And that's also great.
Yeah, portable is good because it take it anywhere with you, and the immediate pain relief, I think does help. I mean, I don't know. I'm very layman. I just, hey, I slapped it on my back. I didn't have pain. Good to go.
Yeah.
Another thing, next, well, I guess, part of the survey and bringing up the results here. And I see a million different things on the internet, and I'm asking you this more as a runner, but supplements for recovery that I will just say eat rather than, physical recovery. What do you think works? And I'd like to ask you about one in particular because it actually came in right where I thought it would on the survey, where less than 2%, right around 2% use them, but ketones. I kind of got into a heated argument, found out the guy actually is the owner of the ketone company. I didn't like the studies, and I'll see if I can find it, but I didn't believe in it. I don't believe in it. I think I'll choose my words very carefully here. I think it's pseudoscience. I think that's a good word we can use without like angering any lawyers. I didn't like it. What is your take on the ketones? Because I know it's starting to become a big thing.
I have not dove into that world yet. I try to wait for a lot of research to come out before I ingest it in my body because you only get one. I don't really have an opinion on ketones, if I'm being honest.
Okay, yeah, because you may not know this, but I won. Rob knows this. David knows this, but I won back in 2023. I was the free trail fantasy champion for UTMB. I came in first place, and they sent me 2 packs of ketones.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, which was like, yeah, so I think that was like the most expensive thing I won. I won shoes, like shirts, and yeah, that was it. And I did take them. Maybe because I'm a skeptic, they didn't work, and it's like a placebo that some people were feeling. But to me, it was just nothing. It was I used as directed, and just nothing from that. But I'm N1. I'm a study of one. My opinion means zero.
yeah.
So
It is something I want to try out more. Maybe I'll make it a part of my Berlin training, but we'll see. I try to keep it as limited supplements and limited things I'm taking as possible because I just don't remember to take it half the time, if I'm being honest.
yeah, that's big. Yeah, that's same with me. There's one thing on the list that I take every night. That'll be the next thing I ask you about because I think it benefits, and it's going to lead into then the next topic, hopefully. But that's magnesium. So started taking magnesium because I did my research and it improved my sleep dramatically. Is that something that you recommend to clients? And is there things should I only take it a few days a week? Can I overdo it with magnesium? Like, I don't want to have negative effects from it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I think every single athlete that's serious about their training and their health should get like a very in-depth, like complete blood cell count. And you should see like what's deficient on that. If your test comes back with magnesium saying that is deficient, you should take it. But like there are a bunch of other benefits. It's not one of my go-tos to recommend, but it does have really good benefits. And so I'm definitely for it.
And 40% of the respondents do take it. Rob, do you take magnesium?
I do when I remember, which isn't that often, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's kind of the key to some of these. Yeah, I don't know, the supplements. Yeah, they do work. I know the next one I want to ask Dr. Bonnie about electrolytes, like LMNT. I do take it after harder workouts, longer runs, because I feel like I recover better. Could be in my head. I don't know. What, as a runner, what are your feelings on that?
Yeah, I definitely support electrolytes. I think a lot of people might overdo it where they don't know how to measure it properly with the amount of exertion they're actually giving. Like in the summer, you should be taking a lot more than the winter if you live in the East Coast, for example. I would say my favorite is BPN. They just work well, they sit well, and they have really good flavors. But I definitely like those, especially with like runs that are over 5, 6, 7 miles where you're sweating a lot more. I always recommend electrolytes, especially as you're training for a marathon or a bigger race where you're on your feet longer.
Hey folks, if you're loving the stories, tips, and laughs we're dishing out, make sure you don't miss an episode. Hit that subscribe button so you're the first to know when a new episode drops. And hey, if you've got a second, why not leave us a review? Your feedback helps us improve and keeps this running community growing. Lace up, hit subscribe, and let's get back into the show.
Is there a company you recommend for those runners that are a bit on the frugal side? Because LMNT is awesome. Liquid IV is great, but they're all pretty pricey. You know,
There's something called Transparent Labs. I'm just doing like a quick search on the internet to see too, but Transparent Labs, they are on the cheaper side because I know like a bottle or like a whole when you buy it, the BPN is like $45. These are half, they're like 20, 25. So those could be a better solution. But also you have to make sure it sticks for your body. I wouldn't buy something just because it's cheaper. I would make sure it like works for you and try to get samples, especially as you're at like running expos. Just try them out and see how it works for you.
no, I learned that lesson. I bought a gel that just said carbohydrate on the side. That's it. It did not work well.
Wow, I can't believe that. That didn't go down well. That's hard to believe that
It's 99 cents a piece, Casey. What are you going to do?
Hey, I get it. It's worth it. Worth it to take a gamble. Now, something, I don't know how this one didn't make like the list of write-ins here, Dr. Bonnie, but beer. I feel that it's a pretty good recovery tool after a long run, hard workout. You're getting, carbs back into your system, maybe a little painkiller. How do you, and this is a serious question because, well, it's kind of a serious question, but, we go for our group run and Buddy's got Buddy Grant there's got a, 12 pack of the latest IPA from the brewery in the trunk. Are we hindering our recovery with beer, with the alcohol? I know don't overdo it. Like we don't need to be hungover the next day, but how do you feel about beer after a long run, marathon, finish line beer? Everyone has Michelob Ultra at them now. What is your take? Do you partake in a beer post long run, post marathon?
I'm the first one to rip that piece off my bib, just to put that out there. That's the first piece that comes off my bib, no matter what race it is. Because you know how it says free beer at the finish line. I'm like, here, you can take it. Like, just enjoy yourself. I'm like I just don't drink. So you won't catch me over there. I've never really drinking just for other reasons.
Yeah.
Something that destroys your liver. I don't think that's a great recovery tool. I know you're kind of like half joking about it. Hey, if it gives you joy, you only live one life. So like go drink the beer, but you'll never catch me doing that. And you'll never catch me also suggesting to do that.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I figured I'd ask because there's a beer sponsor at every marathon.
Everyone.
Like Berlin, I'm sure they have a beer tent at the end. I don't think I've seen one that doesn't have especially in Germany. But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, why would you do all this work for 16 weeks and then, yeah, you just kind of breaking yourself down further with like 2.8 grams of carbs or whatever. So you're not even getting that many carbs.
So basically, instead of the 4 beers, maybe we back it off to 3 beers.
Yeah.
There you go.
Compromise.
That's a solution.
Yeah, if it's a juicy IPA, for sure. But no, I actually haven't had a beer in almost a month. So yeah, since my buddy's wedding, I don't know. It's like I get hungover now, so I just don't haven't partaken in it, but I get why you wouldn't. Yeah, it's fun and all, but yeah, it does damage to your body. You're damaging your body. So, yep. Dr. Bonnie does not recommend beer. I can get behind that. Is there anything else that you do recommend? I know the influencer sphere, which I occasionally gaze into on Instagram. I guess Instagram would be the only place I would look into it, but creatine, which is one of the most studied, most data that we have on anything since I think Mark McGuire back in the 90s said he was hitting all these home runs because of creatine, and people believed him. But very popular supplement. I've heard people recommend, have your 80-year-old grandmother take it. How do you feel about creatine? Do you recommend it to clients, customers? Do you take it yourself?
No, I haven't dove into the creatine world yet. I think it's really difficult for myself to find a benefit in it just because either I'm not consistent enough with taking it. There's too many variables. Like I'm doing too many things, so I don't know what's working. I don't personally take it myself. I don't usually recommend it unless we've kind of obliterated every other avenue. I'm like, okay, you should probably try taking creatine. But I also know there are people who swear by it. So I think it needs to be more on an individual basis where you're not just recommending it to everyone in the world. I think you need to understand their goals, what they've tried, and kind of like how their body is. Say the one thing that was not reported as a recovery tool was sleep. Speaking of natural, right? I would say the one thing that runners don't prioritize enough is sleep, and this is actually something a lot of my clients don't do either, is get enough sleep. Because like I'll say, hey, like maybe they'll have a week where they're in more pain or they're not recovered as much, and I'm like, hey, did you get 8 hours of sleep the past week? They're like, 8 hours? I haven't done that in like years. I'm like, well, how much are you actually getting? And they're like, maybe like 5 hours.
Oh,
That that blows my mind because I can't function if I don't get 9 hours. So I think sleep is one of the like, natural areas of recovery that people are not prioritizing. And if you get enough sleep, do you really need the rest? That's my question, right? And that's more of a rhetorical question that you don't have an answer to right now, but you can see where I'm going with that.
so okay, yeah, I think so. And I was supposed to segue off the magnesium to the sleep, and then I got sidetracked because I can tell you, one, since I haven't drank alcohol in about a month, and I've taken magnesium and I don't, I want to ask you the Garmin sleep score, how you feel about it. I think it's probably the best piece of recovery data that I can find, that in HRV, which I don't quite understand. I understand what it is. I don't understand how it ties in, but the sleep that I get from I feel from the magnesium is way better than anything I've ever had. Like I feel recovered in the morning. I have way more energy. If I'm thinking what you're saying, like, do I then can I do more because I'm sleeping well and I don't need like maybe a full rest day that I can stack on maybe another 45 minutes of work, exercise just because I'm increasing my sleep?
That's a very complex question. I would say, I would say, I can't remember the first question you asked, and I had an answer to it.
About ticks in Connecticut?
No, that was like the first thing we talked about.
Yeah, we're past that one, Casey.
All right.
Um, oh yeah, the watch. I personally don't sleep with the watch on. I feel like my wrist needs to breathe. So I don't have an opinion about the sleep score. I do know, they've been through a lot of research, Garmin, and I think Koros has it now too, maybe, but I don't I don't have an opinion on it because I don't use it myself. So I would need to use it myself to give an opinion on it.
Which, thank you for that, because I think there's a lot of people that just spout opinions when they don't know what it is that
Yeah.
opining about. But the sleep part, very important.
Very. Yeah. And I don't think you should necessarily do more just because you're fully recovered. I think you should gradually increase kind of with everything in life. Like don't go out there and do the most because you feel like you can one day, because the next day you're probably going to feel it. And if it's not the next day, it's the day after you're going to feel it.
Yeah, the magnesium, it and I felt I'll give my opinion on the Garmin sleep score. I definitely can tell, like if I get a 47 and the next day I feel like just garbage, don't want to do anything. And then if I get an 87, I feel great the next day. Like I personally think there's a correlation because I'm an animal and sleep with my watch on. So, yeah, but I think it's a good bit of information. In the sleep, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's probably the easiest thing that you could do rather than spending an extra hour at the gym. Maybe go to bed an hour early.
Yeah.
Don't scroll through Instagram looking at funny reels maybe for the last half hour of the day and just go to sleep. Are you someone who puts the screen down well before bed too?
No, I actually find the screen helps me go to bed, which is counterintuitive from what everyone else says.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll usually just watch TV until I start dozing off and then go to bed.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I try to. It's hard. It is. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So yeah, sleep. I'm fully on board. 9 hours. That's tough for me. I'm like 8:15, 8. That's my sweet spot. Everyone's different though. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. One other thing I like, there's two quick things I want to ask you about. One of them, again, it's like looking into, I don't think it's as popular now, the cold plunges
Yeah.
versus heat. My mom got injured playing pickleball recently, terrible pickleball accident. And she was like, well, what do I do? I was like, well, put the heating pad on it. Well, everyone's telling me to put ice on it. I said, don't put ice on it. Put the heating pad because you want to bring more blood to the area to help you recover faster. Am I correct? Or did I just, kind of put my mom down the wrong path and she's going to be injured for like 14 extra weeks now because
No,
her son doesn't know
no,
what he's talking about?
no. I have one question that's going to help me answer this. Was she visibly inflamed? Like, was it swollen? Like,
Yes.
she was.
Yes.
And where was the location again?
Ankle.
Ankle. So if the one caveat is I would recommend heat for everything because A, psychologically people respond better to it. And yeah, it's going to increase the blood flow, all that. But if you're visibly swollen at that point, you do want to put ice on it because ice is going to help reduce that visible swelling. That's very different from internal, like not visible swelling, where a lot of overuse injuries are just you don't get that visible inflammation, right? So that's where heat is better because it's more chronic at that point. Overuse is usually chronic, and you want to improve blood flow, you want to get nutrients, you want to get oxygen to the area, but if it's visibly swollen, that's going to make it worse. But doing it once, heat on an inflamed, like visibly inflamed area isn't going to kill you. It's just not ideal. It's not optimal.
Got it. Okay.
So not an extra 14 weeks, maybe just an extra 2 days.
Well, that's good. That's good. She'll be back pickling in no time. But how do you feel about the cold plunge? I Everyone's got one now. They've got the tub in the backyard. They put their stupid little hat on and they get in the cold plunge. I don't like to put myself in that much pain, so I've never done it. So I shouldn't have an opinion on it, which makes me a bit of a hypocrite from what I just said. But how do you feel about it?
Yeah, so this summer was interesting because a company reached out to me and they wanted to sponsor the cold plunge on my accounts. So I gave it, a try. I will say preceding this, like in college, I did a cold plunge and I passed out inside the plunge. It was really bad, so I didn't go into it with really a positive, mindset. That plunge in college though was 30 degrees. So it was just my first time. It was a horrible experience, but this summer I set mine and started at 60 degrees and made my way down to 54. And I found that with the heat, I don't respond well to the heat. And I know a lot of my clients don't, a lot of people in general don't. With running it, I feel like I'm more inflamed and like puffy, if you will, for a longer period of time. So that helped me bounce back a lot faster. And so I think it's going to be on an individual basis. A lot of people don't respond well to the cold, but if you do, this is an excellent like recovery tool. I would even throw some Epsom salt in there. That can really help, even though it's not like, warm. It still is going to be fine in a cold water bath-ish situation. So I'm all for it. I wasn't before, now I am.
Got it. You've been swayed. You've been swayed. Okay. Maybe I'll give it. Rob, have you been in one?
Well, kinda. I mean, again, frugal runner, right? So
Yeah.
you grab a bag of ice, you go home, you just throw it right in the tub. You fill the tub up full of water, the indoor tub, the one that's connected to your shower,
Yeah.
and that's good. That's good enough, right? And then if you want to jump in the hot, you just turn on the shower when you're done, melt all the ice cubes, and it's the whole cold, hot, or is it hot cold? I don't know. It works really well. Big fan.
Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll go buy a bag of ice after tomorrow's long run and see how it. I just don't like that much. Like it seems painful to me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a fan though of Epsom salt in a hot setting, Dr.
Yeah.
Bonnie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's a little bit more relaxing, a little bit more my speed.
Hey, you can cold plunge and still burn your candle. It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I could because I think I'd just be gripping and
Throw
not
some
quite.
lavender in there. You'll be right at home.
Yeah, yeah, big lavender fan over here. All right, so one last thing I want to talk about, Dr. Bonnie, then we'll let you go. We've had a number of guests on that are big fans of yoga and stretching. I keep saying I'm going to do it, the yoga. I just never get around to it. I'm busy, have things going on. Will I see a benefit, injury, soreness wise, from yoga?
I think yes. Yes. Research does back this up too. I would say it's like one tool in your toolbox, as most things are in life, right? I think yoga and stretching are really good. To see results, you have to be consistent with it. You can't just do it once and voila, everything has been fixed. But I do fully support it, and research also supports it. You just have to, I guess, find a good instructor.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had a few on that I felt, very, very good instructors. I can't, something has to give. And I guess I put it in the back of my mind and just don't get around to it. Rob is a big yogi now, I think. So he might have a little bit more insight than I do.
Same boat. I know we promised a former guest that we were going to sign up, and I don't think we did.
No, no. And I know, like me personally, for static stretching, this might be like one of the smartest things I'll ever say on the show, but I feel like I lose a lot of muscle tension anytime I've done that throughout my life. And I know back playing, soccer, my soccer playing days, that I would go from, if I would just really concentrate on stretching, being loose, I would go from being able to, we'll say, hit like an easy 40-yard ball to now that same effort was like 30. Like I'd lose a lot of muscle tension. So I just never really bought into it. How do you feel about that for running?
It's better post-run for sure.
Okay.
Pre-run, not great. You really want to stay dynamic, but I would say like your typical ones, like hamstring stretch, figure four, calf stretch. You want like even the upper body. A lot of people have very rounded shoulders just due to the nature of work. You definitely want to do that. Yeah, like what we're doing right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As we're sitting here rounding our shoulders, yeah, I that's a big problem. My posture, because you sit there and work, and you're looking at the laptop, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was one that a friend called me as his kids, getting to be a better player, and I was just like, I don't believe in it. I never did it. I still don't. I just hop back in the car and you know back to work or whatever I do, and I don't even think about stretching. But yeah, another useful tool in the quiver. Yeah, you have a lot of tools in the quiver, Bonnie. So yeah, we appreciate your insight. I know our listeners greatly appreciate it, and yeah, thanks for doing this whole survey and then coming on the podcast with us here. And I it helps me see things that what other people are up to and what's out there and how popular it is. And yeah, gonna buy a pair of OOFOs. Gonna go down to the running store here. Second sold down here in the valley where I get all of my running gear. So I'm gonna go grab a pair of OOFOs.
It's good. They'll thank you, your feet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
hopefully they do thank me. My not flat feet, my well arched feet. So yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Bonnie, thank you so much. We certainly appreciate it here at the Hobby Jogger. You coming back on. Like I said, you are one of our most listened to episodes and one that I've received the most comments about a little over a year ago. So thanks again for joining us. And, we wish you all the best over in Berlin. Going to look forward to seeing how you do over there. I know you're going to do great, and, just out here rooting for you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Dr. Bonnie, where can our listeners find you?
You can find me on social media. Since we had our last podcast, I have made more social media accounts. So I now have a YouTube, I have a Facebook, a TikTok, and an Instagram. So it's all the same at. It's all bonniewilder.dpt.
Well, thank you so much, listeners. Check out Dr. Bonnie. She is one of the people that I listen to. She is not in the influencer sphere. She is an influencer. She's not in that sphere. She actually does things that work and make you a better runner, healthier person, and a better athlete. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Hobby Jogger. We hope you've enjoyed our conversation today. And if you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your support keeps us moving forward. Until next time, keep those feet moving and enjoy the miles.